Hello, welcome to the Dear Encourager podcast, where real stories meet radical hope. Hosted by Vanessa Scott and Keisha Nix. This space is made for anyone navigating the journey of chronic illness and caretakers seeking connection, compassion, and a community that gets it. Each episode, we bring you conversations that uplift, strategies that empower, and encouragement you can carry with you throughout everyday life. Let's grow stronger and healthier together.
Tonight, we're blessed to have Neasel Connor. She's a licensed therapist and speaker and founder of Beyond the Happy, a space she created to help women move past the pressure of happily ever after and into a real peace, purpose, and healing. Neasel holds space for those who carry silent struggles beneath a polished surface. She's a proud wife and mom who knows what it means to rebuild joy from the inside out. We're so honored to welcome Neasel to the table tonight. I know I am. What about you, Vanessa?
I am super excited. Thank you so much for coming and being on here with us.
Excited to be here.
Yes.
Thank you all for having me. I'm so excited to have this conversation.
Yes. So tonight we just want to get your thoughts on anxiety. We know that not only our chronic health warriors, but also our caregivers, just the transition in this new journey that they're going on, that a lot of times they struggle with anxiety and, just from the stressors of this new journey.
So, our brains are beautifully designed, right? Designed for us to think high level and designed for us to anticipate and protect ourselves from danger. And when we are in a space where we are either caregiving or living with a chronic illness, our fight, flight, survival brain can become really heightened, right? And so we tend to navigate our world with this lens of hypervigilance. And so it helps us when the situations necessitate it. But when you are encountering a low level stressor, sometimes because our brains are so hypervigilant, it just sees danger everywhere. And it gives a really big response to the danger that it perceives, danger that may not even be real. And so we can find ourselves in kind of this cycle of worry and fear and anxiety because our brains are always on high alert.
Yeah. It's sort of always like I always call it survival mode. Like our mind and our body is constantly in survival mode.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when our body is constantly in survival mode, it's hard for us to get out of it, right? Especially when we find ourselves in that state constantly. We have to be really intentional about getting ourselves out of it because once we've been in it, we start to get physical manifestations of it. We start to get psychological manifestations of it. And so it really does us more harm than good to be in that state of survival all the time.
And I think one of the issues is because a lot of us stay in there because the stressors, it's hard to identify what that looks like. So could you help our viewers and us just some of the signs and symptoms of us being in that mode you know?
Absolutely. So when we think about anxiety, what usually comes up is we're always fearful or always worrying. But those aren't the only things that come up when we are experiencing anxiety. It can also look like we are irritable. It can look like we get distracted easily. It can look like we want to withdraw from people and isolate. And then when we think about the physical symptoms, stomach issues, headaches, insomnia, sleeping too much, right? So it can be muscle tension. All sorts of things can be happening to our bodies at the same time. And so when you're thinking about, am I struggling with anxiety? You don't just want to look at, am I worrying a lot or am I fearful a lot? You want to look at what all is going on in my world. Am I short tempered? Am I irritable? Do things bother me easily? Am I upset when plans change all the time? Am I having stomach issues that I haven't experienced before? Headaches, muscle aches and pains. So you kind of want to look at yourself with a big lens to kind of see, are there other things coming up for me that might point to anxiety?
If you don't mind, as a health warrior, I hate to interrupt, but I'm just curious. I I suffer from Addison's disease. So I don't have that fight or flight like most people. And so I don't necessarily have that anxiousness or irritability. My body just shuts down. So with most people that may have the issue of, you know, oh yeah, I'm just a little anxious or this, that, and the other. My stressors can come from anywhere. It could come from the job. It could come from trying not to show stress in a situation, let's say just in an argument or anything, vehicle breaking down, anything. And then I'm in the bed. I could be literally in the bed for 2 weeks just because I got anxious because my car broke down, So, ladies and gentlemen, I actually can say that I went to a workshop that Nacelle had, and she had this nice little calming bag, and I don't use it all the time, but I do think about some of the things that you told me. But for health warriors, I think we need to make sure we pay attention to these things that Nacelle is telling us because of the fact that we already are dealing with different things. So we need to make sure we have a heightened awareness of things that could make us anxious, because there are things that could possibly put us in the hospital that would only put others in the bed. So please pay attention. Please pay attention. That's all I got to say right now, and we're gonna get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Okay,
That's
y'all go
so
ahead.
good because I think sometimes we think it's the big things that
Mhm.
might trigger our anxiety,
Yes.
trigger a panic attack. When I had my first panic attack, I was just having a regular meeting with my boss. I wasn't stressed out that day or anything. But when we kind of have this hum of stress and worry and fear just humming in the backgrounds of our brain, it can be a small thing that becomes debilitating to us. And so that's why we have to be aware of how we are taking care of ourselves, how many stressors we have control over in our lives that we may need to eliminate so that we don't find ourselves in a more debilitative state because of a trigger that we experienced in our life.
And like you said, Nicole, sometimes it's nothing. My
Mhm.
first one, I was literally walking down the hall of my building, getting ready to go to a football game with my cheerleaders, and I just passed out. And when I woke up, I was hyperventilating. And it was from everything else, like you said, in the background, that we constantly, I'm gonna say, because I'm speaking from a caregiver, that we put on the back burner because we we don't give ourselves time to do anything else because everything is important. Nothing can sit aside. So I have to. Mine was my mother. I have to make sure she gets to the doctor. I have to make sure at that time I had my nephew. I didn't have children. I have to make sure he gets to what he needs. I gotta make sure these cheerleaders, I got to do this teaching. Like I was so involved in everything else, I neglected
Yes.
myself. And you know, didn't understand because also I was just running on adrenaline. I was running on, you know, survival. I was in
Mhm.
survival mode and didn't know it. And a lot of times, especially being, I'm going to say I was, young at that time, I definitely didn't think about how I needed to manage my emotions as well as my physical being because I didn't allow myself to do it. I think a lot of times I speak on this a lot of times as caregivers that we hold a lot of guilt for many different reasons, whether it be guilt from not being the best caregiver, guilt for wanting to do some of the things on my own and having my own life, just different things that we do. And I think that also brings on a lot of anxiety and stress.
For sure. I would also say that we didn't always get models for how to, one, practice self care, two, to identify when we were encountering a lot of stress. Like, I didn't even hear the terminology of anxiety until I was an adult, well into school, right? A lot of our models were people that appeared to be strong, that just, kept going, didn't really do a lot, or they went to church and prayed about it. And so we didn't have a lot of models of what it even looked like to navigate anxiety and to take care of ourselves. And so for some of us, we started at zero, or we didn't start until it happened to us and we had to figure out how to take care of ourselves.
And I'm glad that we are where we are now, because also we grew up in a world that didn't allow that. When our parents were raising us, society didn't give you a moment to sit back and take on. No, you go to work, you do this, life has to keep going. The first time I saw my mother was a single mother of four, raising four of us. The first time I saw her cry, I was a 15-year-old girl, and that was when she lost her first grandchild. So imagine a 15. So that's a falsehood in itself, to not see the person that you looked up to, because my mother absolutely was my hero. So if my hero can do it, like, I don't have any kids, what I'm over here complaining about? I'm not a single mother with 4 kids. Like, you better get yourself up and dust yourself off and get to going. Like, that's what we grew up in. That was society. And I'm glad that society is making that is slow, but it is making that shift where mental health is seen as a need now.
For sure. For sure.
I had asthma when I was little, and I still have it. But I never forget, I was having problems and, I couldn't breathe. And I would go to the ER, sometimes by ambulance even, okay? And I couldn't breathe. And they'll be like, well, it's not your asthma. It has to be my asthma. It has to be, I can't breathe. Oh, no. Then they're like, she's having an anxiety attack. What? No, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. No, baby, you having an anxiety attack. And then, those ambulance bills started coming to the house. And, it's like, you better get yourself together because these ambulance bills are high. But I'm like, I promise I can't breathe. And it took like for me to go to college, and then you go to see the, counselors and stuff at the I can't even think what it's called now, but on campus where you can go to counselors there and trying to talk things through. And then, finally I remembered, okay, girl, you had a baby at 16. You have all these people looking at you and they're talking about you and you have the weight of that and and my pride was there and you're not going to be putting me in this box because I have this child. I'm going to graduate, and I was crazy enough to say I'm going to run for senior court and all of this, and had all the people talking about me and calling the school board and how I shouldn't run because shouldn't be able to run, and all of that was on me. So then I was like, no, but it's my asthma, and I'm just spraying away. Probably had my blood pressure all high and everything, but but I was, quote, not anxiety. What is that? But it was asthma in my mind. So yeah, I'm glad now we are using those words earlier and sooner with our children, and we're starting to get them to talking and hopefully sending them to therapy when they need it.
Right.
Because that's very, very important. And when we deal with the elders who still have that older mindset of, no need no therapy. I just say, okay, thank you for your opinion.
And keep
Right.
walking.
And go on to that therapist. Like they say, folks don't have to know all your business.
Right.
Take yourself to therapy and get right.
So, Nacelle, how would you help some of our caregivers and our chronic health warriors disentangle from the anxiety and our identity? Because a lot of times, as we talked about, especially people in our age group, if they're not at the space where we are, where we have seen that we need the self-care, that we understand that anxiety and anxiousness is a part of life, how can we help them understand that that doesn't identify you? That is just a part of what you're going through right now, and it's natural. I think that's also very difficult, especially for people of color.
Right.
To
Yeah. Yeah, I think we sometimes over identify with things that we are dealing with and the things that we are navigating. And I think when it comes to anxiety, we really have to externalize it and name it. Like we can call it anxiety, you can call it Angela, you can call it Andy, like give it a name to start to create that separation of my being versus what I am navigating. Those are two different things, right? So I navigate anxiety. I am not anxiety. So I think that's one thing to think about. And then we have to allow ourselves to understand what the anxiety is trying to do. Anxiety is information. It's information saying that my brain goes into overdrive to try to protect me from dangers that it sees, dangers it creates, dangers that it thinks are on the horizon. That's what the anxiety is doing, right? And it's not
right.
me willfully trying to worry and be scared. It's the anxiety that is trying to protect me. And so when we name it and say, okay, Angela, the anxiety, I see you trying to protect me, girl. I don't need protection in this way right now. Instead, I'm going to go take care of myself. I'm going to go practice some calming techniques. I think we can begin to untangle ourselves from the diagnosis of anxiety because when we internalize it, especially, I'll just put this out here. Research has been done. I know we're talking about anxiety, but research has been done about depression in Black women. And what they are starting to discover is that for us, depression manifests a lot with self shame and self hate because we internalize it and blame ourselves. And that's the danger of internalizing something like anxiety, is then we think it is on us to fix it and fix ourselves
And fix others.
and
Nicole,
fix
you done
up.
jumped ahead. You done jumped ahead because we're bringing you back to talk about that. We're bringing
Yes.
you back to talk about that so you don't went ahead. You don't jumped
Mhm.
ahead, but I'm glad you already introduced it. So when you come back, we're just going to continue that discussion because
Absolutely.
definitely, and we'll call it
Right,
everything else, but we're not calling it depression because how dare I say I'm depressed?
Mhm.
right. And so,
I just overworked. I'm tired, but
mm-hmm,
we not
Mhm.
depressed. But we're gonna come
Mhm.
back. That ain't today. Let's say you done
Mm-mm.
jumped ahead. That ain't today. That's next time. That's
True.
next time.
part two, we'll get there. We'll get there. But that internalization sends messages to myself. That internalization of anxiety sends messages to myself that something is wrong with me. I have to fix me. I can't exist in space carrying this. And we put all this pressure on ourselves to fix it. And so that's why it's so important to be like, no, anxiety is something I navigate. It is not my being and it's not who I am. And so I tell my clients all the time, what are we going to call her? Okay, we're going to call her Sandra. Okay, Sandra the anxiety. Let's label her. Let's name her so that we're not attaching it to ourselves.
I love that, and you can apply that to anything. Well, in my
Right.
case, though, I'll have to have girl, that list gonna be long. Andrew, Peter. That's all right, though. But because someone did tell me that before, because I kept saying, "My head injury, my this," and she was like, "No, no, I rebuke that right now. That's not a part of you. That does is you don't do that." So I like that. I'm be like, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, just keeping it separate. I love that. I love
Mm-hmm.
that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Nicole. So before we go, can you give us like 3 to 4 techniques or activities that people can do when they are feeling overwhelmed, have this anxiety to just help them, like even if it's just a couple of seconds that I can take out of the day, because we always on the go. We can't give ourselves too much
Right.
time, self-care is
Right.
not that important. So we can't, we need some skill that a person only need a minute or two. If we do more than that, they ain't gonna do it. So we need some like short
Yes.
ones.
Yes. I love it. And I love that, we're talking through like what is sustainable self care, right? Because it's not something extravagant. Self-care and wellness is a way of being and doing life. It's not just me going to get a massage when I have time and going to get my nails done. And in fact, getting my nails done is stressful in this economy.
You got to get it right.
Right. It's stressful. So some strategies I would give you. Number one is breathing. And I know breathing is talked about a lot, but breathing is really our body's built-in relaxation system. We can access it at any time, but just us taking deep breaths can help relax and calm our bodies. And there's different ways that we can do it, whether it's just taking 3 deep breaths. That's how I like to start every therapy session with my clients. It's just 3 deep breaths. You can do box breathing. You can do meditative breathing, right? And so accessing breathing at any time that you're feeling nervous or anxious is a built-in strategy that you don't have to go pay for. All you got to do is use your nose, your mouth, and just give yourself some deep breaths. So that's one. The second thing
Can we show the people box breathing?
Yes.
I'll be your person. Me and Keisha, we're gonna practice box breathing right now.
Yes. So
we can calm ourselves.
So you're gonna draw a box while we do this, and what it's gonna look like is we're gonna inhale for 4, and our finger will go up. So we'll inhale. So I'll count us down. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out and bring your finger across. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in again and bring your finger down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then breathe out and bring your finger across. 1, 2, 3. Took 16 seconds, right? Just a quick, you draw a box, you breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Under 20 seconds, and it can help relax and calm your body.
Now, that was only 15 seconds, so I know y'all can do that. There's one self-care that was under 30 seconds. So we got one. Come on, let's get some more.
Okay, so the other one, and Keisha talked a little bit about this. So one thing you want to do is access one of your 5 senses. So sometimes when I'm having events, I give participants little calming kits where they can smell something, they can touch something. There's usually Play-Doh in there. There's some candy in there for taste, but you want to access one of your 5 senses to also relax your body. So this could be sucking on maybe a lemon head. And let me give you a little bit of a cheat code. When you eat something sour, it produces saliva. Saliva stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system, which works to calm you. So if you got access to some pickles or some sour candy, that can also really help to calm you. But you found it! Yay!
See, that's why our childhood was so great, because I was about to put some peppermint in a pickle or some lemon and get the suck in there. Like that was our calming technique right there.
Yes. So manipulating some Play-Doh, and you want to do that for like 5 to 10 seconds and really be focused on the thing that you're doing, whether it's eating the candy or playing with the Play-Doh or blowing the bubbles or coloring, like whatever it is, you want to be focused on that. And that can also make you feel calm in the moment. So that's number 2 I would give you. So accessing your 5 senses: touch, taste, smell, hearing, and I can't think of the last one. Touch, taste, smell, hearing.
I think you get a playlist.
Yep, the playlist is for hearing.
Smell.
I know, I can't think of the last. Feel. That's for sight. Seeing. Thank you. You're right. Seeing.
We're over here.
Yeah, what's the 5th one? So that's definitely a strategy that you can use. And then the last one I would give is movement. Not necessarily exercise, moving. Short 2 to 5 minute walks. Allowing yourself to kind of pace. Movement helps with processing of emotions. So if you can find some type of enjoyable, low impact, quick movement that you can do, that can also be a really good calming strategy as well.
Hey, dance, and then you hit both of them. You get to listening to some music and you're doing the movement. That's 2 of them right there.
Right.
That's 2.
You don't feel so good afterward. That's why When you hear your favorite song and you're listening to it and singing and dancing and you feel good after, because all of those things are activated while you're engaged in that. So those would be the strategies I would give.
There you go. Thank you so much. So everybody that you heard, she gave you 3. We have box breathing, we have activate your 5 senses, and then we have movement. So that's 3. And they were under 30 seconds, guys. Under 30 seconds. So
And
you can
free.
do this every day like that.
Don't
Free.
take a membership to a gym.
Especially the way our economy is right now.
Exactly.
Free.
'Cause
Anything that could go for free, we want it. We love it. So yes,
Absolutely.
but all jokes aside, this is serious, but this is how you de-stress. This is how you calm your spirit and you feel back up. You refuel. And I think that is what's one of the most important things is that we refuel. We don't do enough of that. We are at capacity and we don't fill ourselves back up. So she gave us 3 techniques that we can do, guys, to calm ourselves and refuel so we can be our efficient self to go out here and help our people if you're a caregiver, and also for you chronic health warriors so you guys can navigate and move through your life and this new journey that you guys are on too.
Absolutely. Neasel, talk to us about Beyond the Happy, how people can,
I am the owner of Beyond the Happy, which is my private practice, but also my mental health and wellness organization. You can find me on Facebook or on Instagram at Beyond the Happy, or you can find me online at beyondthehappy.com. Try to keep everything simple and consistent so that people can find me on all platforms. I do specialize in working, especially with women who are navigating anxiety, grief, depression, major life transitions. And I also help organizations and corporate companies help their staffs navigate mental health and wellness through vision board experiences, wellness experiences. And soon I am also going to be launching a Beyond the Happy community, which will be a community of women who are navigating their health and wellness in a connected type of space so that I can be connected to women in ways that is beyond just the therapy room. So that will be coming soon.
I hear more connections. I hear Miss Neasel is coming out more than once, y'all. Y'all gonna see her quite often. She doesn't know it yet, but she just sold herself into this, that she gonna be over here more than once or twice. So Neasel, you don't know I snatch what I want and I don't let go of it.
Yeah, I see it. Dear Encourager on location with Beyond the Happy. Yes,
Yes,
we can, because
absolutely.
we're out here trying to make community too. We have been blessed to have you here today, Neasel. Thank you so much. I think our viewers are going to actually learn a lot. You have given us great techniques on how to be dealing with our anxiety and actually, our own self-care. I hope everyone shares this with others because this has been great information.
Yes, remember to find us on dearencourager.org. We're on all social platforms at Dear Encourager.
Thanks again, Neasel, for being here.
Yes,
Thank you for
you so
having
much.
me.
And I done adopted you into the sisterhood, so you're not getting rid of me. I'm sorry. I don't know if you came here for a lifetime friend or not, but you got one, so.
Absolutely. Lifetime friendship.
Yes, I would love to stay connected. And if you all want me back or anything, just let me know.
Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Thanks again for tuning in to Dear Encourager. We hope today's episode brought you comfort, strength, and a reminder that you're not alone. Your support helps us grow this space of hope and healing, one listener at a time.